Hello everybody, my name is Dr. Poonam and you're watching Rollercoaster Parenting, the only place where you get awesome tips, tricks and strategies to be an intentional parent. And today being a Q&A Thursday, I have a question which has come from a parent and I'm not going to give out the name but let's call her ABC. So let me read out the question that she has. Hi, my name is ABC and I have a child who doesn't speak at all. I've tried asking him many times as to why he won't speak, but he just doesn't answer. Now I'm getting really worried and irritated, and I know this doesn't help, but what do I do? Please help. So here's the question from ABC, and I'm sure many parents or mothers experience the same challenge, right? We do want our children to come back from school or maybe any other place, and we want to create a bond and a connection. And here we're trying and trying, or at least we believe we are trying, and maybe this isn't working. Maybe there's something that's coming in the way of a connection. The methods, the systems, or the processes that we might be using might be faulty, might be inappropriate. And here, I don't want to say that the parenting style is a faulty style or a practice that you're doing is going wrong, but there are certain tweaks that can be done. And this is something that I'm going to talk about today, because most of the time we believe as parents that all the challenge and the concern that we face with regards to parenting or children behavior is there needs to be a correction in the child. But let me tell you one fact, and I know that this might be very tough for parents to handle and digest, is that we need parenting course, or we need a training program that shows us or explains us how to speak, how to listen to them, how to effectively get work from them. Because most of the time in the adult and the child relationship, as I rightly said, we are the adults, right? Therefore, the adults are in charge, or leader is in charge. So therefore, it's we who are in charge, and therefore we need to take proper steps. So if the action or the behavior that we do is appropriate, we are going to get the appropriate reaction as well. Now here, let me speak about the challenge. Now there could be a couple of other factors as well. Now because I haven't met you and I haven't met your child and I don't know the dynamics in the relationship, I really can't go in depth. But what I believe and what I've seen through workshops and one-on-one counseling is what I've realized, that we do not come across as a adult who wants to know more, and there might be certain reasons and certain things that we aren't doing properly, and therefore I'm going to focus more on the parent and the strategies that the parents need to understand more than the kids will just follow. Yeah, so the first one that I want to talk about here is that as parents we talk too much, we talk way too much. We have so much in our mind and we have so much to do that we end up speaking a lot more than required. And therefore, if you realize, एक तो बहुत कम time होता है, right? As a parent and child bonding, how much time do you have? If you're working, you leave right after your child leaves for school and you come back much later, maybe around 7, which means that the entire day is gone, and therefore you're left with very little space and time to connect and bond with the child. Now, in such cases, if you're not able to connect on the right note, you've lost the battle. So, my worry is, how do you begin with, and what you talk, and why would you talk so much? So my suggestion to you here is that give an opportunity for the child to speak more than you speak. So yes, I'm not saying stop talking at all, because it's important for connecting and for bonding. It has to be a two-way process, and therefore it will need for you, or it will require you to talk as much as you can and express, because that's the way the child will understand that हाँ ऐसे express करना होता है, ऐसे बात करनी होती है. Like अगर ऑफिस में कुछ होता है तो आप बता रहे हो, that's a good thing. That's something that needs to be appreciated. And if you're doing that, then you're on the right track. But at the same time, if it's a 10-minute block that you're giving for the engagement and the bonding, then 5 minutes you speak and 5 minutes you let the child speak. And better, you start with the child getting engaged first. So you ask the child, how was the day? How was the tuition? What did he do through the day? What are the extracurricular activities that he did at school today? And things like that. And then the focus shifts onto you. So here what you're doing, A, you're giving importance to the child over yourself. B, you're creating a larger space and time for the child. So he's going to be proactive and he's going to be waiting to come and share with you things that he's waiting for the entire day. Right? So that's one thing that might be going wrong. The second one is you are too distracted. With the 21st century and with the gadgets and the technology, there's so much available not just for the kids but also for the parents. And I understand that we might keep believing that the kids are the one who are hooked onto gadgets. It's really the parents. How many times are we watching the TV and listening, with the remote in the hand and you're saying ha ha ha? And that's not really listening. You are way too distracted. You're trying to do two things. While as a mother, I do believe in multitasking, but this is one area where I do not believe in multitasking. I believe that when you're communicating with a child, or for that matter, any adult, you have to focus, you have to pay attention. And by doing this, you're creating a value system. You're saying, belief here is that you are important to me more than anything else in the world. Then the phone ringing, or maybe my favorite TV channel, or whatever, that can wait, that can come later. It's all secondary. For me, my child is most important. So you're establishing that fact there, and therefore, please try and keep the gadgets away. And when you say gadgets away, it's not keeping your mobile right next to you. It's keeping the mobile maybe on a silent mode and keep it away. It should not be in the radius or the periphery where you're having a chat or a conversation, whether it's the adult or the in-laws or the parents or the children. This is one rule that you got to establish. You have to give importance to your relationships over everything else. You have been there and you can dedicate your time. You should have a TV time, you should have a WhatsApp time. But when you're talking to your child, you should be fully engaged. You should be like this, listening intentfully and understanding each and everything. And when I say it's not just the words, it's also the non-verbal reactions and the communication that he or she is saying, showing. For example, he might say something, but through his non-verbal communication, you might understand that there is something that you're missing, and therefore you might be able to question. So, cut the distraction completely and fully pay attention to your child as to what he has to share or express, right? That's where you will be able to form the connection with the children. The third reason is you don't give them enough space and time. Now I know that we are all working mothers and therefore that's the challenge. Our roles have just multiplied. So now I got to handle the home, I have to handle the different roles of being a mother, the child, attending to my in-laws, my parents, my other relatives, and I know it just gets tougher. But the point is that you have to create space and time, and you have to create rituals and regimes just for your children, because they are the most important thing in your life, right? They're the most important beings in your life, and whatever you're doing in life, I believe is everything for the child. You're working because you get good money and therefore you can invest better in his education. Every single thing that you go, if you go down as to why am I doing this, why am I doing this, why am I doing that, everything will boil down to the fact that I want to be the best parent in the world and I want to make the best available for my child. But what I believe is that is something long term, and that is something that you will need to do, right? But what you also need to do is today, right now, how can I make a difference in the relationship? How can I bond better? How can I connect better? Because that connection on a daily basis is extremely important and significant, and you have no idea what kind of positive impact it has. It's something that I have experienced myself. My mother was a stay-at-home mom while she helped my father in his business, but she was always there for me to attend to me. And it might sound very selfish here because I had her all the time, but I knew that she was able to balance her work and manage her work and her career, and at the same time manage us really well, because she was there every single time that I wanted to share something, my experiences, my negative, positive, my wins, my failures. She was there for me, and that's something that I still hold as a memory, a very positive memory. And maybe that's one reason why I try and create and replicate the same behavior when it comes to my daughter. So you have to create a lot of space and time. And I do believe in quality time, but that quality is important, yes. And I'm sure that in the given set of challenges and concern, you're making space and time for the child. Maybe in a day, it's maybe half an hour, it's good. But try and increase the time. You have to have that strong connect with your child, and that will happen only when you spend a lot of time with your child. So do that. The fourth one is you're way too pushy and come across as nagging, and I'm sure everyone's experienced it. Even I've gone through this, and where I felt that I just don't give enough space and time for the child. So where we're too pushy, we're too nagging, and the moment the child enters, we start asking questions because we want really quick answers so that we start getting to work. You might be able to understand as to what I'm trying to say. Like, for example, the child goes to school, comes back from school, and these days they have a lot of projects and a lot of assignments. And then my child sometimes forgets to tell me and inform me about it. And at the end of the day, maybe at 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock at night, she tells me that this needs to be completed, and I'm like, what were you doing the whole day? So now what happened was, my regime and ritual became that the moment she enters from school, I used to start asking her question as to what happened in math, what happened in science, and do you have a project, and do you have an assignment, and do we have something that we need to submit tomorrow? Is there a worksheet that needs to be provided to the school? So what started happening was, while I wanted, my intention was to get work done so that she doesn't get any sort of remark at school, and I wanted to get it done in a timely manner. But that clearly wasn't working because my child felt that I was way too nagging and way too boring. So give them some space and time. Don't come across as nagging. Yes, you need to ask them as to what needs to be done. So try and set up a ritual and a regime that, you know what, Tisha, when you come back from school, I'll try not and disturb you because I know that after 7 hours or whatever hours of schooling that you've come back, you're tired, you're exhausted, and you don't want to speak about studies and assignments and homework. I get that. But maybe after an hour, we should sit with a timetable and we should talk about the subjects that were covered through the day and therefore what needs to be done. So that gives them enough time to relax, that gives you enough time to come up with appropriate questions and explain them or ask them, and it's done in a friendly manner then, because at this point in time both are open. I don't come across as nagging because here I become the support system who's going to help her attain whatever she wants in terms of her answers, solutions, projects, assignments. At the same time, she's at ease now and she's much more open to listening to me. Right? So these are a few tips that I wanted to talk about, that it's not really the kid's fault sometimes, Sometimes the kid is really shy. Sometimes the kid has gone through a particular experience and doesn't want to talk about it right now. He might come and tell you later. So we need to figure out a number of factors as to what could be affecting the child really. But most of the common concerns are these reasons as to what we create in our mind, and therefore that becomes as an obstacle or a barrier. तो हमें ये barriers और ये obstacles हटाने हैं. If you want to try and create a connection with your child or a bond with a child, you need to figure out from the child's perspective. इसको क्या पसंद है? इसको कैसे पसंद है? What are the methods that he likes? What are the techniques that go well with him? Because as I said, every child is different. Every child is unique. They have a different pattern of learning. They have a very different pattern of expressing their thoughts and emotions. And therefore, we need to spend time with them. We need to figure out these things. The more time you spend with the child, the more you'll understand a particular thought pattern or behavior pattern. Every child has a specific pattern and you will get to know that pattern. आपको समझ में आ जाएगा कि ये ना इसका pattern है, and therefore let me tackle it. So once you understand and spend time with the child, it just comes naturally to you because now you have learned कि मेरा बच्चा ऐसा है, उसको ऐसे पसंद है. If I tell him this way, he will be open to listening and doing it. And if I tell him that he has to do it, he might not do it. So this is something that I request and urge to each and every parent, that spend a lot of time with your children. They need more of your time. They need more of your listening. So talk to them, listen to them, observe them, and that's how you make them talk. Once that strong bond and trust is created, I'm sure your kids will start talking to you, and then there won't be any barriers and obstacles. So yes, that was the answer to your question ABC. I hope I helped you in some way. In case I have, please do let me know via email that the strategies that I talked about work. And for all the other parents, I want you to know if this strategy really helped you. Does it make sense to you? Do you feel that by trying out these exercises, it would get you closer to your child, it would help you create a better bond, and it would make your child speak? Then do let me know. Leave a comment in the comment section and let me know what worked for you, what didn't work for you. Is there any other strategy or a method that you worked and is not talked about here? Do share your experiences and let me know. Yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next week.